Living longer doesn't mean much if those extra years are spent feeling tired, sick, or limited. What truly matters is living a long life that is also energetic, independent, and joyful. A growing body of evidence suggests that a plant-focused way of eating can be one of the most powerful levers you control every single day to make that happen. And this is the part most people miss. Your daily food choices may be quietly shaping not just how long you live, but how well you live during those years. Why plant-based eating matters. In conversations about longevity, people often think of genetics, expensive supplements, or intense workout routines, but nutrition is usually the most accessible and underestimated factor. A plant-forward diet built mainly around foods like vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds has been linked to a longer lifespan as well as a healthier one, with fewer lifestyle-related diseases and more years of good metabolic and mental health. Put simply, the goal is not only to extend life, but to extend the number of years in which you feel capable, active, and fulfilled, and your plate plays a central role in this. Expert insights on longevity and food. Dr. Navneet Deora, Chief Food Technology Officer at Blue Tribe Foods and a PhD in Food Technology from IIT-trained, emphasizes that real longevity is about quality as much as quantity. In his view, it is not impressive to just add years if those years are dominated by illness, fatigue, or dependence on others. The real success is adding healthy years in which you can work, move, think clearly, and enjoy daily life. He highlights that among all the lifestyle habits we can change, such as sleep, exercise, and stress management, nutrition stands out as one of the strongest and easiest to modify, and a plant-centered pattern appears to be one of the most effective ways to improve healthy life expectancy. The surprising role of fats and cholesterol. A core advantage of plant-based eating is that many staple plant foods naturally contain little or no saturated fat and no dietary cholesterol, especially when they come in whole, minimally processed forms. Foods such as beans, lentils, whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables, and soy products provide high-quality protein, vitamins, minerals, and fiber while usually keeping saturated fat and cholesterol intake relatively low. These nutrients work together to support vital functions in the body, from energy production and tissue repair to immune health and hormonal balance. Here's where it can get a bit controversial. Saturated fat and cholesterol themselves are not automatically evil. When eaten in moderate amounts and in the context of an overall balanced lifestyle, they can fit into a healthy diet. The trouble typically arises when intake is high and frequent, particularly from heavily processed or deep-fried animal foods. At that point, the risk of cardiovascular problems increases. By leaning heavily on whole plant foods and limiting excess saturated fat and dietary cholesterol, people can support healthier blood vessels, improve cholesterol profiles, and lower the likelihood of atherosclerosis, a buildup of plaque in the arteries that contributes significantly to early deaths worldwide. Plant power, phytonutrients and antioxidants. Plant foods do more than just deliver basic nutrients, they also supply powerful compounds called phytonutrients and antioxidants. These substances help the body handle oxidative stress, essentially the damage caused by an overload of unstable molecules known as free radicals, which can speed up the aging process at the cellular level. Reducing this stress supports healthier cells and tissues, which over time can translate into slower physical decline. Another crucial role of these plant compounds is controlling inflammation. Long-term, low-grade inflammation is increasingly recognized as a common thread running through many chronic conditions such as type 2 diabetes, obesity, and certain cancers. A diet rich in colorful plant foods tends to provide a spectrum of protective compounds that can help keep inflammatory processes in check. This doesn't mean plants are a cure-all, but they can create a bodily environment that is less friendly to chronic disease. The underrated hero, fiber. One of the most valuable but often overlooked components of plant-based eating is dietary fiber, which is found only in plant foods. Fiber plays several important roles. It helps keep digestion regular, supports more stable blood sugar levels, and increases satiety so you feel full and satisfied after meals rather than constantly craving more. This can naturally assist with weight management, which is closely tied to overall health and longevity. But here's the part most people miss. Fiber is also the main food source for the gut microbiome, the vast community of beneficial bacteria living in your intestines. When you eat a variety of fiber-rich plant foods, you essentially feed these microbes, helping them grow more diverse and resilient. A healthy, diverse microbiome has been linked to stronger immunity, better metabolic health, improved mood and mental well-being, and lower levels of inflammation. Emerging research increasingly connects a well-nourished microbiome with longer, healthier lives, suggesting that what you feed your gut may indirectly shape your future health in profound ways. Plant-based eating and long-lived populations. The relationship between plant-based diets and longevity becomes clearer when looking at so-called blue zones, regions of the world where people statistically live longer than average and often reach advanced ages in relatively good health. These communities differ widely in culture, geography, and daily routines, yet they share some dietary patterns. One of the most consistent similarities is that their meals are anchored around plant foods, with animal products, if present, typically playing a supporting role rather than being the main attraction on the plate. In many of these long-lived groups, people eat mostly minimally processed ingredients prepared in simple ways: beans stewed with herbs, whole grains like brown rice or whole wheat, a variety of local vegetables, and modest amounts of nuts, seeds, or fermented foods. Highly processed snacks, sugary drinks, and fast food are either rare or consumed only occasionally. This pattern suggests that it may not be one superfood that drives longevity, but rather the overall structure of the diet: plant-heavy, diverse, and low in ultra-processed items. Building a plant-based plate in real life. Transitioning toward a plant-based lifestyle does not have to mean giving up every animal product overnight or adopting a label like vegan if that doesn't feel right for you. A practical approach is to think in terms of building meals around plant foods first, then treating animal foods as optional extras. For example, your plate might start with beans or lentils for protein, whole grains such as brown rice or quinoa for energy, and a generous serving of green and seasonal vegetables for vitamins and minerals. From there, you can adjust according to your comfort level. Some people may still include small amounts of dairy, eggs, or meat, but in much smaller portions than the plant components. Gradual changes are often more sustainable than sudden overhauls. You might begin with one plant-based meal a day, or dedicate a few days a week to eating mostly plants, and then expand as you discover new recipes, flavors, and combinations you enjoy. Long-term benefits beyond just extra years. When thinking about the future, it helps to look beyond the simple question of how long will I live, and instead ask, what will those later years look like? The aspiration is to age with enough strength, mental clarity, and mobility to participate in relationships, hobbies, travel, and work for as long as possible. A thoughtfully designed plant-based pattern can be a powerful tool to move in that direction. Choosing more plant foods can help support cellular health, reduce the risk of many chronic illnesses, and maintain healthier metabolism and gut function. Over time, this may translate into better energy, faster recovery from daily stressors, and greater resilience as you age. From this perspective, opting for a plant-based meal is not just a short-term diet decision, it is a long-term investment in how you want your life to feel 10, 20, or even 30 years from now. That idea alone can be a motivating why when making everyday food choices. Getting started safely and thoughtfully. As with any significant lifestyle shift, it is important to remember that general information, no matter how helpful, cannot replace personalized medical advice. Everyone's body, medical history, and nutrient needs are different. Before making major changes to your diet, especially if you have existing health conditions, take medications, or have specific nutritional concerns, it is wise to talk with your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional. They can help you tailor a plant-forward approach that fits your unique situation. So here's a question that might stir some debate. Do you believe a plant-based diet is genuinely the future of healthy eating, or do you think animal products still deserve a central place on the plate if chosen carefully? And if you have tried shifting toward more plants yourself, did it make you feel better, worse, or about the same? Share your thoughts, whether you agree, disagree, or sit somewhere in the middle, because this is exactly the kind of conversation that can push the science and the culture of food forward.